YouTube. Welcome to another edition of OGMarv Whispers. I'm your host, OGMarv. I want to talk about relationships as it pertains to civil rights. A lot of people have gotten it twisted, and I think over the years it's not being addressed enough. And so I want to make an attempt to address it, and I'll probably do it a couple more times during my lifetime. And so I think you all got it. Being in a relationship can be a wonderful thing, or it can be a miserable thing, depending on your mate and your mindset. I'm big on rights, people. Civil rights are more important to me than money or anything else on this planet. Your right to be able to do things that you want to do or you feel that you want to do, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. You have a right to be wrong. You have a right to be right. You have a right for your decision on what you do to be respected. Your mate has to hope that that you have some sense of boundaries and that you were raised right by your parents. That's one of the things I'm going through right now with my ex. She wasn't raised right by her parents. Her parents didn't instill any sense of right and wrong and what is good or what is cool or not cool to do. First of all, relationship does not mean ownership. Nobody owns nobody. You have a right to a certain amount of expectation of continuance, and you have a right to a certain amount of hoping that the person you chose to be your mate has some sense of civility and has a sense of right and wrong, good and bad, and a balance of temperament to know one from the other. For instance, your possessions, your personal things like devices. Just because you are with somebody or you're married to them or you live with them or they're your significant other or whatever you call it does not give you the right to tamper with their stuff, their devices, their phones, like this or like this. Nobody has a right to go in your devices, period. It's within your rights to expect that your mate or whoever you're with or whatever you call them will respect you enough to not tamper with your stuff when you're asleep or when you're not home or whatever the case may be. Being in a relationship does not entitle you to do that, to go into to your mate's stuff. It's like when your mate is asleep. Guys, you don't have a right to go in your mate's purse. Females, you don't have a right to go in the guy's wallet. Nobody has a right to go in each other's devices without permission. Being in a relationship with that person does not automatically give you that right at all. Period. I'm big on rights, right? My civil rights is more important to me than love or anything. I don't give a shit about nothing more than I care about my civil rights and my ability to be free to do what I want to do. And especially now that I'm retired, I don't have a boss. I don't work for nobody. I don't work for nobody. Let me say that again. I don't work for nobody. And nobody works for me. Whatever people do for me or don't do for me, they do or don't do because they want to, not because they have to. Nobody has to do a damn thing. Mary cooks for me and serves me, but she does that because she wants to, not because I'm forcing her to or because I don't even ask her to. She does it because she loves me and she wants to, and that's the only way that it means anything. I do things for her because I want to, not because she asked me or or same thing. That these things are level across the board, and it should be the standard that we all operate under. You don't have a right to go into people's personal possessions without their knowledge or without their permission. It's wrong, and in some cases can be illegal. But morally, it's just wrong. I have never gone into anybody's stuff without asking, or see, I don't even want to. But bottom line is, I don't want to go through nobody's purse. I don't even want to have to pick the motherfucker up. Mary's purse is heavy as hell. I don't know what the hell she has in it. Her purse feels like a damn suitcase. I don't want to fuck with it. I don't. Got too much shit in it. I don't know what all the hell she has in it. All I know is it takes some effort for me to even lift it, pick it up, and hand it to her. I ain't trying to do that. I'm also not trying to go through it. I don't want to read nothing in her purse. I don't go through her phone or her tablet. I don't do it. I don't even want to pick it up and move it if I can help it. I just don't do those kind of things. My parents taught me to respect other people's possessions, other people's rights. And I think about those things before I do anything. It's not right to feel like you have the right to just pick up somebody's device and open it up and go in it. Because, one of the things too that my mom used to always tell me is, if you go looking for shit, you'll find it. If you don't go looking for it, and I found this to be true, in just in life in general. 9 times out of 10, if you see something that you don't like, you're gonna want to talk about it. But if you don't talk about it, chances are, and I'm gonna say this, I give this about a 90% odds that if you never know what's going on and you don't have to deal with it, it'll go away. Unless that person had the intentions of doing that, and if that's the case, they're going to do it anyway. You going through it and seeing something that you wouldn't have normally dealt with had you not seen it is not going to change what the outcome is going to be. If it's going to happen to you, it's going to happen to you. People do fucked up shit to people. Me, for instance, because I can only speak on myself. I be on the internet. Ladies talk to me all the time. Am I going to actually go out there and go meet them and decide to wreck my home and hurt Mary to go be with them? No, because that's my moral compass. My moral compass is not going to allow me to do that in good conscience. Because another thing about that is that most relationships that start out like that or are attained that way don't usually stay. The relationship won't work. If you did something fucked up to get with somebody, 9 times out of 10, that relationship's not going to work. Case in point, Shanika did all that fucked up shit to me because she thought she was in love with some nigga named Brian. And I don't know how this happened, but the day Brian decided he had enough of her pussy and walked away from her, see, that's what he was there for. He wasn't there for her. He was there for sex. She mistook sex and lust for love. So she was loving him instead of me, but he wasn't loving her. He just wanted the pussy. So when he had enough of the pussy, he left. That's what most niggas do. Most niggas are not there for a reason. They're there for a season, so to speak. No, the other way around. They're not there for the season. They're there for a reason, and the reason is pussy. Most niggas are with, especially women like Shanika, because she hasn't got the she doesn't have the mental capacity to sit down and understand what she brings to the table. So with what she brings to the table, there's no way in the hell she'll ever get another man of my caliber. Because I do bring something to the table. Matter of fact, I bring quite a bit to the table. If a woman doesn't bring as much as I bring to the table, chances are I'm not going to really be interested in her either. Had I known that Shanika was the way she was, I wouldn't have stayed with her as long as I did. Because now I'm feeling like I wasted 12 years of my life when I could have been with somebody else, and had those years meant something, because, you spend some, I just feel like when you've been with somebody over 10 years, you should have a certain, uh, uh, you should have a reasonable expectation of continuance of that unless you've done something to fuck it up. Which, like in this case, I hadn't done anything. I was at home taking care of my children. I loved my kids. Now, because of her and her actions, I am not around my children every day. I didn't want to miss it. See, I worked when I was a younger man, so I wasn't able to be around my kids every day on a daily basis because I worked the afternoon, most time afternoon, evening, and I'd get off work at when I drove the bus, I'd get off work most times at 12, 1, 2 in the morning, which meant my kids would be asleep by the time I got home, and then when I wake up, they were usually going to school. So I missed a lot. I missed watching a lot of their growth, and I'm not too happy about that. So I was hoping, or I just I didn't assume, but the object of what I was trying to do with Shanika was not miss a day of our children's lives. How was I supposed to know that she didn't? See, people have to be raised. You have to teach people stuff and instill it in them when they're young, and keep their mindset in that framework throughout their young lives and into their teenage years, so that when they get to be old enough to make decisions for themselves, they make the correct ones. I try to like when my kids, when Shamari is around, because I don't think that Shanika has this conversation with her. Because for one thing, Shanika's in no position to have this conversation with her because of the person she is. There's no, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if Shanika was my mother and I'm 11, 12 years old and I'm looking at what she's doing and I hear what she's saying to my father, there's no way in the hell she's gonna sit there and tell me how to treat my husband or my significant other, because I'm going to look at her and say, well, or even if I don't say it, because I'm not going to be disrespectful, but Tamara probably will say it, because disrespect is something that she doesn't really understand or care about at this point, because that's what's been taught to her by her mother. So she might say this to her mother: "You can't say shit to me, mom, because look what you did to my dad." And that's disrespectful. But but I would understand that. Of course, I would tell her, you can't talk to your mom that way. You got to find another way to put it, or wait till you're a little older to mouth it that way. And then, because hell, she's 18, and she said that to her mother, I wouldn't have a problem with it because she'd be right. You can't be some fucked up ass person yourself and then try to teach your kid how not to be. You understand what I'm saying? This has to make sense to you, because, bottom line is, you cannot tell somebody to don't do as I do as I say do. Because kids are watching you and they're going to do what you do. And then they're not going to respect what you say if you're trying to, if you know right from wrong and you try to teach that kid right, but then you're sitting there doing wrong yourself. What kid do you think is going to listen to that? None. None of them. They're all going to look at you like you're fucking crazy. My parents, well, my dad in particular, not so much my mom. My mother would say shit to me, but because as I got older, I realized my mother was cheating on my father. And I'll tell you right now, this blows me away. And you can say what you want to say. My mother had polio, and her legs didn't do it. They were just there. Couldn't use them. I have a problem with fucking handicapped people. I just can't do it. There's no way in the hell I'd ever fuck my mother if I was some guy out there looking for somebody to fuck on. My mother would not have been attractive to me. But one thing about black folks, a black nigga will fuck a fucking snake if you hold. They don't give a fuck. I watched one of my father's best friends come around, and of course I was a kid. I didn't know that what was going on. I think I busted in my mother's room one time, and here's this guy named Sam. I ain't gonna never forget this. And Sam was my father's buddy they worked at the post office together. And Sam, when I opened my mother's bedroom door, Sam was sitting there at the side of the bed, rubbing my mother's legs. What the fuck? Thinking back on it now, I should have reacted a lot different than I did, but I was afraid of my mother, so because parents back in the 50s and 60s, you didn't open your mouth and say shit to them in a disagreement of what they were doing, but you get slapped in the mouth for that. Because they tell you in a heartbeat, you're a child. You don't talk to me like that. Don't tell me what to do. I had to say that to my daughter one time, because I think, oh yeah, I had to say that to my daughter recently, because when Shanika and I were kind of halfway, arguing on the phone, and I can't really tell. I have to be honest. I couldn't tell whether it was Shamari or Shanika saying what they were saying to me, because they kept handing the phone back and forth. Which again, that's fucked up. What the hell parent does that? If I try not to say disparaging things about Shamari's mom in front of her, and unless we're on the phone, and then because arguments can just spark up in a heartbeat, and you just don't even know they're coming until boom, they're there. But under normal circumstances, I don't know. Like this last time Mari was over, nigga had took her phone, and that's all she talked about the whole weekend was her mama taking her phone. Well, I didn't engage in that conversation, and I guess Mari was looking for me to say, yeah, your mother fucked up. I didn't do that. I said, well, your mother had her reason for taking. I said, I told her, I said, you do have a tendency to sometimes be disrespectful, so I could understand your mom taking it, and I do, because Shamari does have a tendency to be disrespectful. But where do you think she got that from? She got that from her dumbass mama. Okay? Her mother taught her that behavior. She certainly didn't get it from me. Because normally, I'm not disrespectful to nobody. People that really know me will tell you, if you were to say to them, oh, Marvin was a disrespectful person, they would say, no, that's not the Marvin I know. Because that's not the Marvin I am. I don't disrespect nobody initially. But if you get in my face and start talking shit to me or put your hands on me, that's another fucking story. Especially if you're putting your hands on me. You touch me, like Mary and I have had disagreements. She seemed to think that it's okay for her to bump me. Because when I spoke to her about that. First thing she said to me was, I didn't hit you. And I said, okay, you didn't hit me, but you were pushing me, because what she was doing was jostling, like, I think I was standing in the washroom trying to get around her to go probably to the kitchen or something, and she was kind of blocking my way. And so instead of her moving and allowing me access, her idea of doing what she wanted to do was to jostle me around with her arm. She had no right to do that. If you're having a disagreement with somebody, they have no business putting any part of their body on you. Period. Period, point blank. There's no excuse for nobody putting their hands, their arms, no part of their body on your body at all. It's not acceptable. I won't tolerate it, and I will call you on that every time. Because I'm not going to let you get away with it. That's just not going to happen. I don't put my hands. I don't, I don't act in a threatening manner unless I feel threatened. Now, if I feel threatened, yeah, I'm gonna back you off. I mean, I don't even understand why a woman would even get up in a man's face, because no man worth his fucking salt. And even me as an old man, you ain't gonna whoop my ass, okay? I'll die before I let you whoop my ass. Ain't no female gonna whip my ass. I don't give a fuck. The only way she's gonna whoop my ass is I'm damn near in the casket or in it. Her whooping my ass is not gonna happen. Period. Point blank. So there's no point in her even fucking going there. But the laws are such that, you have to be careful with that, because, I've been locked up for no reason, really. I didn't even hit Shanika. There was an incident that happened where I was looking for my car keys so I could leave, and I thought Shanika had took. Well, actually, she did take them, because I guess I must have been high that day. I took her keys off the wall, because we used to hang our keys on the wall. On our keys had things that most keys have, where you can hang them on something. And so I took her keys off the wall, because I was going to kick her ass out. I was tired of her at that point, and was ready for her to fucking leave and go to her mom's house. And I wanted to be by myself. Well, I couldn't find my keys, and so she was we had a big walk-in closet. She was sitting on the floor, I guess looking for some, clothes to take with her to her friend's house that she was going to. And I walked in there and I said, "Where's my keys?" And she says, "They're here." I said, "Where?" She said, "They're in here." And she was intimating that they were in the closet. So I said, "Well, I don't see them." And so, women, women ordinarily put things in their tits. So I'm behind her, and I reach around, and because I'm just digging her titties and see see if I can find my keys. Well, when I went to reach around, Shamari, for some reason, because she was in the closet too, she thought I guess she thought I was going to choke her mama. So she jumps up and starts hollering and runs out the damn door, and goes down to this lady named Elena's house. Elena was supposed to be the apartment manager. That bitch wasn't about shit either. She was just fucking the owner, what that was. And so they gave her a little title and gave her a little money to collect the rent for her. Her and Shanika were friends, because Shanika was actually seeing this nigga named Brian there. Now she won't admit this, but that like when by the time I saw Brian walk away, this is like 3 or 4 years later. So she's been fucking this nigga for years. I knew him. I saw him. I used to see him come up the stairs at the apartment we had on Empress, and he would go to Elena's house. It never dawned on me that nigga was cheating on me and this was her nigga. I thought that he was a friend of Elena's. And so, so I didn't think nothing of it at the time. Turns out he was actually the person that Shanika was cheating on me with. And when I've asked Shanika about that, and she lies and said, "Oh, no, that's not him." But I know that nigga. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, so I know what's up. Relationships don't mean ownership. That's the point I'm trying to make here. You don't own nobody. You're in a relationship with a person. You still have to respect their individuality. You respect their things. You don't have a right to go put your hands on them. You don't have a right to, like Mary has gotten mad with me and come in here and grab my computer and throw it on the floor. Now she can afford, it's no big thing to her, because she knows that she can afford to buy me computers all day long. But that's not my point. It's not the point that she can replace it. It's the point that she has no business putting her damn hands on my shit. I don't get mad with her and go toss her shit around. I ain't never picked up nothing to her since I've been with her. And I'll never do that. I wish she would stop doing that too. And I wish she would understand that she doesn't have the right to do that. And I need for you people to understand the same thing. You don't have the right to touch another person's things or their person. Period, point blank. There wouldn't be all this domestic violence. Because I'm gonna tell you something, folks, especially with us black people. The counties are making money hand over fist off of domestic violence charges. And just like I explained to you about, that incident I told you about, I ended up going to jail for a month. I was given a sentence of 2 months, but you only serve half time as long as, you mind your business. So I went to jail for a month. First time in my life I'd ever been on that side of bars. I used to be a correctional officer at San Quentin. So, I used to sometimes, like when the convicts were gone and out on the yard, I used to sometimes, just sit in their cell for a minute, I'd pick a cell and just sit in it and just imagine that this was my cell and, try to imagine how this person probably feels. And little did I know that a few years later, I was going to find out for real because, I ended up getting to sell my damn self. Point is, women shouldn't, or men either, shouldn't put each other in those situations because, again, domestic violence is just a tool that the county uses to make money from. So basically, they're using your inability to get along with your partner as a way of making money. If they put you in jail, the government gives them money for you sitting in jail, and so you're making money for them. Now, if you bail out, again, you're making money for them. Either way it goes, you're making money for them, and you ain't getting shit but bullshit. So now I got a felony on my record. Of course, I don't give a fuck because I'm not looking for a job right now. If I was younger, I would probably care. Now I've already served time. This has been over 5 years. I could actually get that whole thing, wiped off my record. But like I say, I don't give a fuck. It can stay on my record for all I care. Because I ain't looking for shit. I don't need nothing from nobody, including the state. I've learned how to live on what I make. I don't make that much, but I can live off of it. I just couldn't do it here. I don't have a problem with that because I go to Reno and I like Reno, and I can afford to be there by my damn self. I'm not saying that's what I want to do, but I'm just saying that's something that would work for me. And that's the point. That's one of the keys of life is finding out what works for you and do that. Okay. I feel good. I always feel good after I finish, venting or talking, because at least I know that somebody's going to get something out of what I said. Sooner, if only one person gets it, that's cool. Then I feel like that my time was well spent. Hell, I spent 12 years with a motherfucker who didn't get it. So if I spend 30 minutes with you, compared to them 12 years that I spent with that hellion, these 30 minutes are blissful. Anyway, thank you for watching my show. Like and subscribe. Let me know you were here. I appreciate it. This is OGMarv, feeding you good evening. Take care of yourselves and each other.